It's the Cochise County Sports Show with Paul and Dave, brought to you by Synergy HomeCare and Sierra Vista Golf Center. Now on Cool FM Live, here's your hosts, Paul Quarter and Dave Davies.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Cool FM Live for our Cochise County Sports Show. I'm Dave Davies. That is Paul Quarter. Hope you all are having a great day.
As always, this is brought to you by Synergy HomeCare, Sierra Vista, providing non-medical home care all across Cochise, Santa Cruz, and Graham County. Call me today, 520-685-1035.
And as always, this is brought to us by our very special friends at Sierra Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol. They have the Vista card available. The weather is perfect. I got all my golf out of my system last week. We're ready to go. It was a great week.
Congrats, Rory.
Lot of golf. I triple bogey number 9 for a 91. Gosh darn it. I was so close to a 90. But yeah, we have a great show today. As always, we have a special guest. Let's do this.
Head coach from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, James Milligan, is going to be joining us. Coach, come on in here.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Of course,
Morning,
of
Coach.
course.
Love your hat, man.
Hey, thank you.
Someone
I do
gave it to
too.
him.
I do too.
I still prefer this one. The camo's just nice.
Yeah.
No, these ones are so clean.
Gerald
They're
Morgan
so
in the chat.
clean.
How you doing, Gerald? Good to meet you. Well, Coach Milligan from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. You guys in the last couple of weeks have had a little bit of an up and down. Like, we were at the game where you shut out the Benson Bobcats, and what was the most surprising scoreline in Cochise County, I think, for all of baseball season. But then you've also lost to Desert Christian. Just speak to the team and where you think mentally you guys are at.
Well, obviously that Desert Christian loss was a tough one. Not that we played poorly, we just didn't hit the ball. And when we hit the ball, it went right to them, or weak grounders,
Baseball, baby.
stuff like that. Yeah, just baseball. I think the kids, maybe had a little big head walking in there after the first round with them, and we got over it pretty quick. Come to Benson, and we hit the ball like we should be hitting the ball.
Well, in that Benson game as well, speaking of you hitting the ball, not hitting the ball, one thing we noticed is DJ Elias, halfway through the broadcast, had one strikeout. He finished with one strikeout. We're talking about a fireballer pitcher, DJ Elias. And we were kind of talking before the show, and you think that's just something that he's added to the game to make him that much better on the bump.
Well, we talked to all our pitchers about pitch counts, and that's a big thing in baseball, and pitching to contact, trusting your defense, and keeping trying to keep pitch counts down. And so, DJ in that game for sure took it to heart, and he could have went 9 innings probably the way he was throwing.
Yeah.
I always like to quote the movie Bull Durham. Like throwing ground balls is democratic.
Right.
And DJ was, he literally pitched into contact. And it was in my mind, we've watched DJ get double-digit strikeouts. We've watched him just blow people out. And the way he pitched that game, again, it was professional. It was a professional victory, and against the Benson Bobcats, a top 5 team in the state. That was my outsider's opinion watching it. How did you feel about that?
9 straight unbeaten Benson Bobcats
Yeah.
as well.
Beating Benson and Fred, they're well coached and they're always ready to play, and we knew that too. And there's certain games I think the kids just they're ready for. And Benson was one, Phoenix Christian was one a couple of weeks ago.
15-5.
Always Bisbee, and when we when our bats are rolling, we're pretty good.
I was just saying, what a segue, Coach. So here we have
series of the
here
century.
we have on Friday, number 1 versus number 2 in the state of Arizona. How are we feeling about the Bisbee Puma? Well, as of last week, I don't know what has happened.
We're not. The rankings are, for the media and for kids,
Sure.
and obviously,
For us,
we look at them too, and Bisbee's always a big game. We could be 20 and 25, and it'd be a big game. So we're excited. I think we'll be ready, and looking forward to it.
Like I said, I've dubbed this the Tombstone Revenge Tour of 2025.
I've heard it.
We know what happened last year. We know what happened last year. We finished in the quarterfinals. We all know that it should have been better. And so I know as a coach, all you coaches is one pitch at a time, one game at a time. Are we thinking about the whole thing right now? Like, is that where, like, or do we have our mind on that?
Well, I'm not, and I hope our kids aren't.
We are.
And
hopefully we
are.
are. Hopefully we don't influence the kids to think that way.
One game at a time, and once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. Sure. Really, it becomes about matchups and pitching matchups, especially because there's a lot of teams that are maybe lower ranked that might have a stud pitcher who comes in and kind of shuts you down, and anything can happen.
Especially with those Phoenix teams.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we know about DJ. In your eyes, we're outsiders. You know more about this than we do. Who is our second arm for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets? Like, who's the guy that we are confident in the playoffs? And we're like, we throw DJ. Who are we throwing next?
So I don't know. I don't know honestly that we have a second. We might have 3 seconds. Brendan's been really good, and at times, and lately Vlad Velasquez has been pitching, and he's been pitching well, and then Miguel, we haven't thrown him a whole lot lately, but when he's thrown, they're both throwing good, and Miguel and Vlad coming from the left side, a little bit different look than either Brendan or DJ, so it just kind of will depend on what happens. Matchups, just depends on who we're playing. And
we are live, by the way, folks. So if you got questions for Coach Milligan of the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, you get in and you ask him as well.
We like to bring on the experts, pick his brain. He's number 2 in the state right now. You got to pick his brain. Ask the man some questions.
And here's the thing too, because we briefly went over Desert Christian. You can obviously, you said you guys might have been a little bit big-headed going into that one, but there is a thing in high school. I don't think it's necessarily true for professional sports, but they say it. Sometimes you need a dumb loss. Sometimes you need a loss that you fully expect to win just to wake you up a little bit. And then you guys lose to Desert Christian. You come out and you shut out the Benson Bobcats. You mercy roll them in 6 innings. Looks like that might have been your wake-up call.
Well, that's what you hope for. When you have a loss like that, that's what you hope for. And we had one of those last year, and actually had one early, this season. Yeah. Actually, a couple early in the tournaments, when games we thought we should have won, and if we hit the ball, Ray's won, and
boy, those Ray Bearcats, they might be popping up in Cochise County this week.
That Ray game, I was there right broadcasting that game, and I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, what a weird game.
Yeah, another game where we didn't hit the ball very well, and it's like when we hit,
5-2,
we're a different team.
That's the thing, too. We say we have 3 teams. We always coin Blaina, Tombstone, and Bisbee, just these top-to-bottom rosters that you can guarantee are going to hit. But that has happened a couple times this year where you've been held to 2 runs against Desert Christian. So what would you attribute to that? Because every time I'm out to watch you guys, you're still hitting the ball really hard, and obviously it's baseball. Sometimes you hit it to a glove, and that's it.
Well, then maybe you should come to all our games. Maybe you should be at all our games.
Right? Okay, so my last 2 solo broadcasts, Phoenix Christian, 15-5.
There were more of us, Coach. Trust me.
Be at all of our games. It's baseball because it's not like we're going up there and striking out a lot.
Yeah.
I think we had more strikeouts last night against Santa Rita than we did against Desert Christian or Benson or. So we don't strike out a lot.
Y'all played Santa Rita yesterday?
Yeah.
What, 22-0?
16.
Okay.
16, yeah. So
gotta fire those stray bullets.
Yeah.
Gotta fire those stray bullets to Santa Rita.
Yeah. We roll over. We try to do too much maybe, and you roll over pitches. It's just baseball. Baseball.
You know what? And I don't want to say it out. I'm not trying to call anyone out, but because DJ is so talented. And he has the ability to just win games by himself. Sometimes I feel like that's the only bit of trouble is if it's not going your way, he's trying to do too much, and then the whole team follows suit because obviously DJ is your leader.
So DJ, DJ always wants to do more. Mm-hmm. Always wants to, have the big hit, and he hits the ball well. He's hitting, I think, still maybe 500-ish. You have the stats here.
Last week he hit 600, so it's a down week for DJ.
Yeah, but he's not. He thinks he should hit a home run. Every time he comes to the plate.
Your segues are amazing, Coach. I was like DJ, just like Bryson and Bisbee. The power numbers are down this year, but the average is right there. Like the kid is hitting for contact. And so it's like you said, him and Bryson, the power numbers aren't there like they were last year, but. I mean, they're just professional hitting right now. Like, DJ is just finding his way on the base.
Find a way, yeah, that's it, and find a way, and that's, it's team baseball, and we try to keep all the kids grounded like that. It's not all about DJ or Eric or Miguel or any. Despite, yeah, I know.
Eric Kohler,
you love him, we love him.
Yeah,
DJ's been the guy for 4 years now, so.
Now, what farm system from the major leagues did you find Eric Kohler? Like, where did you find this kid?
So Eric
comes from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Is actually huge for us this year, and we really needed him to be. He's been in our program for a few years, and just has never broke into the lineup. He's always had a pretty good bat that really never translated to game action, and so I always say, and I think a lot of baseball coaches, if you can hit, you're going to play. Everybody can play a little defense. It's the hitters that are going to get the nod. And man, Eric's worked really hard, played some ball outside of the season, and at a little bit higher level, and he's really come around for us.
Good protection for
and
DJ
we needed
as well.
That. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we've been doing this for a while now, and we just didn't know the name. And all of a sudden this year, we're like, who the heck is Eric Kohler?
That's the beauty about high school sports.
Man.
If you just start coming out, you're like, oh, where did he play? Freshman team last year? And all of a sudden.
Yeah. Now, I know win or lose on Friday, we're going to Goodyear, Arizona. By the way, Paul and I have gotten confirmation. We'll be in Goodyear, Arizona, baby.
Right.
Let's go. But, regardless of, win or lose, you're going to be going to Goodyear. It's just what number is going to be next to your team.
Right.
What are we?
I got him right here. Don't worry.
I was like, how are, I know you're one pitch at a time, but, how are we feeling going into Goodyear with our team? I know we have a huge measuring stick on Friday, like where we're at, with Bisbee and all that. But going into Goodyear, we're feeling pretty confident about this one?
Yeah, we feel confident, I think, playing anybody. I think, I feel like we can beat anybody in the state. Mm-hmm. Also feel like most of the teams in the state could beat us too on any given day. So,
baseball.
You try to stay grounded, and you go one pitch, one game at a time, and like I said, once you get to the tournament, especially after they narrow it down to the 16, anything can happen.
Yeah.
We've seen number ones get beat the first day, and
single elimination as well, which I think is a little bit. It's injustice to baseball and how it's supposed to be played. But
sorry, folks, I had a granddaughter.
Single
elimination.
eliminations. Well, anyway, we're talking Tombstone. Why not just continue to talk a little bit of Tombstone? Let's get into some stats. It is now stat time.
Have I mentioned how much I love Dan Powers behind the scenes over here? Have I? Again, don't try not to get caught staring at yourself. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So the Tombstone Yellow Jackets will start with the baseball team, currently 16-6-1, 8-2 in the region. They went 1-1 last week, a surprising loss to Desert Christian, which we talked about, and then the big win against Benson. You guys did play already this week, Santa Rita, which you won, but the series of the century culminates with the Bisbee Pumas. I believe that's Friday night.
Friday night. Warren Ballpark. Let's do it.
We'll talk about Eric Kohler, because why not? 2 for 4 this week with a double, 2 RBI, 2 stolen bases. Kelly Bliss I don't think he got a hit this week, but I had to mention Kelly Bliss because of his defensive prowess.
Aussie Bliss over there?
We got a nickname. We can now call him Aussie Bliss. The Wizard of Aussie.
That double play he made was so nasty. When he turned on that double play on second base against Benson, that was such a nasty play.
Your shortstops are really playing as well, because even when Kelly Bliss was gone, it was Sasha was over there.
Sasha. Yeah.
So let's Trey Franklin hit 500. He had 3 stolen bases, a couple RBI this week. DJ Elias hit 600, a double, 2 RBI, 2 stolen bases, 6 innings pitched, 1 strikeout, no runs against the Benson Bobcats, and only threw 73 pitches in that game, which is unheard of.
It was the efficiency. It was absolutely off the charts. It's like, again, he's pitching ground balls. He's pitching to contact. It wasn't this overwhelming. That's why I was saying during the game, if a scout was there, that's the kind of performance that you want. Not the overwhelming strikeouts. You want that, where I'm pitching to contact.
It's just different from what he normally does.
Yeah,
and he showed he can do it.
It was a masterclass against the Benson Bobcats of all teams. Like, my goodness. And they came in 8-0-1.
9 unbeaten. Anyway, let's get over to the Lady Yellow Jackets.
The Tombstone Revenge Tour 2025 is very real. See you in Warren Ballpark on Friday. Okay. Let's talk about the ladies. I ran into Coach. He had some interesting things. They're 12-12 on the year. They're 3-0 in their region. Oh my God, they beat Desert Christian. I think that's an 18-0. Let's see, they beat Benson 17-2. They beat Santa Rita 19-0. Oh my God, reading my own handwriting.
So
It's something
Tombstone's
else.
starting to find their form, softball wise.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach. They have 2 games. They have Wilcox. They have Bisbee, and he's convinced that the Wilcox game is harder than the Bisbee game. Which I mean, they're all tough. You know what I mean? But that's why
The
he was
rankings indicate as well.
that's what he was. He was really convinced, that was going to be the tougher game for him. But let's talk a little bit about the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets. Like I said, they're at Bisbee this week. The Benson game, Liliana Garcia 2 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Hayden Dobbins 2 for 3 with a run scored, 5 RBIs, and Arabella Alvarez 2 for 4, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. She's a freshman, by the way. So what is going to keep this train rolling for the Lady Yellow Jackets?
Well, let's jump over now to the Benson Bobcats. I always go to Benson because they still don't have baseball stats, and we're trying to put together an all-star.
I have a lot of teams with no stats today.
Sorry about it, but they're 11-10-1. They're 4-1 in regions. They went 1-1 last week. They mercy rolled Wilcox and then got mercy rolled by Tombstone. They play Thatcher this week. They did beat them already. They have St. Augustine Catholic tomorrow, and then they have ALA of West Foothills coming up. So the Benson Bobcats, a lot of games, but I mean, another team. We're just all waiting to get to Goodyear.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Goodyear. Yeah, that's it. Like, these are all just formality games at this point. You said they got St. Augustine Catholic. That's a win.
St. Augustine Catholic only lost by 1 to the Puma. Well, we'll get to that, I guess. But
the other team I'm not familiar with. But yeah, we're all just waiting to get to Goodyear. Like, we'll see you at Goodyear, baby. Let's do it. Let's talk about the Lady Bobcats. 11-11 on the year, 5-3 in their region. They lost to Tombstone. No shame in that game. And then they turned around and beat Pima 21-4. That's what we like to see around here. They're home against Santa Cruz Valley this week, and they're St. Augustine Catholic. Let's see. Not a lot of stats in the Pima game. All I know is that Sierra also won 1 for 3. No stats. No stats.
Okay. Well, whatever. They got the win.
Thank
That's
you,
all that
Benson.
matters.
Thank you. I'm telling you, I'm going to take your hat off the table if you keep this up. I'm going to transition over to the Wilcox Lady Cowboys. Cowgirls.
This is another way to say
Cowgirls, excuse me. They're having a year. 15-8, 3-1 on the year. They beat Santa Rita 23-0. They beat Valley Union 14-2. They got Desert Christian twice this week. We know what that is. A couple of big players. Emma McWilliams, 2 for 2, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs. I know what you did. Maddie Bennett, 2 for 2, 2 runs scored and an RBI. So Wilcox Cowgirls looking good. Again, Tombstone scared of them. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Wilcox Cowboys currently 8-11-1, 5-4 in regions. They went 2-1 last week. They did beat Duncan. They beat Santa Rita, and so it's really 1.5-1. Stray bullets for no reason. We appreciate Santa Rita though. Every time I fire a stray bullet, I have to say I really appreciate them keeping the programs alive, and their basketball program from 3 years ago to what it is now. On the come
By
up.
next year, their basketball program is going to be back on track. They gave the Pumas a run for their money at the McHale Center this year.
And their baseball kids, I'll just add, they have fun. They play hard. They work hard and they have fun. And a lot of high school sports. That's what it's got to be about.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's what we're out there for, kids. Right. We're not going to the MLB, okay? We're out there to have some fun.
If you're in Cochise County, good shot you can. But anyway. We'll go back. Right. They do play the Wilcox Cowboys have played Morenci, and they lost yesterday. And then they played Desert Christian, so it doesn't get any easier for the Cowboys.
9 runners stranded yesterday. 9 runners stranded for the Wilcox Cowboys. I talked to your coach, by the way. It's not like I don't know these things. I did ask him about the game. It was senior night yesterday, so I asked about the game. 9 runners stranded, Wilcox. You know what to do. You know what to do. He's still expecting to go to Goodyear, though. Coach Ward is still expecting to be in Goodyear, Arizona.
It's going to be tough. They put themselves in a predicament with the AIA, which we'll talk about later.
You played Wilcox. What are your thoughts on this team?
So we played Wilcox pretty early. So
you got them again next week.
Yeah, and that's our senior night. And we knew Wilcox would be down a little bit. They had a new coach. Mm-hmm. Anytime you have a new coach, there's always going to be maybe a little transition period. And so we played them. They might have been our first game. So
they were the first game I covered. No, actually, Valley Union was the second game I covered.
Yeah. So
you said you have them at home for senior night.
We do have them at home a week from Friday for senior night.
Good luck, Wilcox. You put yourselves against the wall, man. I don't know what I love you guys and all, but man, you put yourselves against one right now.
Well, the story writes itself. It's the same story as last year. Play in game, last seed, go in, upset, and get to the quarters. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jerry Reyes, who's still on a tear. 400, 2 doubles last week, and 2 RBI. Noticeably, I think Mama Reyes was right when he got thrown at a third. He's like, well, he's going to sit the next game.
You're right.
No stats
You're right.
on
I
Reyes
forgot
in
about that
game.
one.
That was Santa Rita.
Don't ever get picked off on third. Coach will kill you, okay? Like, Coach will put you on the bench so fast.
Ty Scholl threw 6 innings last week, let up only 1 hit and only 1 earned run, struck out 7. Ant-Man Anthony Morales hit 600 with a triple and 4 RBI last week. And I did want to give a special shout-out to Smooth Joe Sanchez.
With the haircut?
Well, not as smooth
How you gonna
anymore.
cut-
That haircut was so smooth.
As you get older, like, those locks are going to go away, okay? Leave the locks, okay? Like, don't cut them off until you have to.
But he hasn't really been in our pitching statistics, but he did throw 3 innings last week and struck out 6, so 67% strikeout percentage, pretty good. Those are DJ Elias numbers. So there you go. Let's transition over now to the team that will be participating in our Series of the Century Friday.
Ooh.
The Bisbee Pumas, 18-3 on the year, 8-0 in regions. They went 3-0 last week, extending their win streak to 10 games, which is now tied for number 1 in Cochise County. They beat St. Augustine Catholic. They already played San Miguel. They beat them yesterday. They have Lincoln Prep, and then they, of course, have Tombstone on Friday. Javi Montiel last week went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Jackson Alvarez went 2 for 3, hit his first home run in his high school career. 2 RBI, and also had a stolen base last week. David Correa continues his hot streak after sitting out half the season for transfer rules and regulations. 1 for 2 RBI and a stolen base. And Bryson Myers, 6 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, and 2 earned runs against St. Augustine Catholic last week.
Can we talk about what happened yesterday? They won 25-0. Jackson Alvarez had 2 more home runs yesterday.
Did he really? Well,
he sure did.
Again, I'm trying to structure it a little better because last year
I found the coaches after the game.
I found myself on Monday, if we had a game Monday, I'd give that stat, and then the next week I would give it again. And I'm like, wow, I'm just making more work for myself.
Either way, again, the heavyweight fight that's coming on Friday will be there front row. The Tombstone Yellow Jackets are going into Warren Ballpark. I mean, they just shut out Benson, double digits, mercy rule. Bisbee just won 25-0 last night.
Haven't lost since Ray in the tournament.
You know,
what is with these Ray Bearcats?
Now I'm going to give you some behind-the-curtain stuff. Like last year when you guys were going into the playoffs, you guys were so hot. And I was like, you need to lose the Bisbee game. And I was like, you need to be, like your team needs to remember what that feels like. That was my opinion going into that game. I feel exactly the same way about Friday. Where Bisbee needs to lose this game. You need to go in there and beat them. You need to beat them bad because Bisbee is so hot right now where they need to be humbled. They need to be taken down a post. And this is how I feel as an outsider. And I think that your team is exactly the team to go in there and do that. To go and be like, you're the defending champs. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure Todd doesn't feel that way.
I know how Todd feels.
Even still, would that be a humbling loss? Because the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, as we predict, are the second best team in the state.
It's a rivalry. It is the rivalry in baseball. Tombstone and Bisbee, that's what we got.
No, I get it. But after the fact, it's not one where you're like, they both lost to the Ray Bearcats. They're not like, what the heck happened? On that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't know that you ever want, I don't know that you ever want to have that loss. And, Bisbee's got that.
Especially
they're returning state champions, number 1 by a large margin in the state. So they've kind of got a target on their back by everybody they play. It's maybe not easy, but it's Bisbee.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to deal with that just fine.
My nerves are like, I cannot wait for Friday. By the way, I was at the Buena games yesterday just watching. I know Jeff was doing the games. I ran to Coach Cole, and and he had he's like, you guys should try to do more female sports. I'll be at St. David's softball on Thursday. I'll be at Bisbee softball versus Tombstone on Friday. We're going to get plenty of female sports in this week, I promise you. We're limited by the world that we live in, okay? We're limited by the world that we live in. You have 2 softball games coming this week on Cool FM, so get ready.
Well, the St. David Tombstone game, that's the first softball game we were supposed to have. You were sick for that one.
Yep.
I was out of town. And then we got our second softball game rained out. And then, so when I was up in Benson or Wilcox doing the Benson Wilcox, they're like, "Is this your first one?" I'm like, "Not scheduled, but first one we actually got to get out to." So we're trying, absolutely.
Well, let's
And I'll be completely honest with you, our stream numbers are better for the female sports.
They put on an entertaining game. I mean, let's not be lost on this. The Tombstone Bisbee softball game on Friday is just as important as the baseball game. Like, those two teams are both going into the postseason. They're both hot right now.
You said you're going to try to do the
Oh no! I already told. I ran into Isabella Solis at my job. I said, I'm going to cover the softball game. You need to win quickly because I need to be at Warren Ballpark by 6 o'clock. Okay?
Listen to that, Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets.
I'm just saying. I need that
your
game to be
mouth has
over.
a way of motivating.
You know what happened to the Bladen game yesterday? It was like 16-12. I need that game to be over in a timely manner because I need to be at Warren Ballpark for the baseball.
And that softball game, I think, is a big one for the region, too.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the top of the region up there is beating each other up a little bit. And
that's why
how correct you are, Coach.
I ran into Coach, and he wasn't thinking about the baseball game. He was thinking about the softball game. He's like, oh, softball game. Like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lady.
But that's why basketball is so great because we do get to cover both of the major
basketball
sports.
Right back to back, yeah. Let's talk about the Lady Pumas while we're here. Muy Caliente, 15-7, 1-1 in their region. Let's see, they beat St. Augustine Catholic, they beat Hayden, they beat San Miguel. They have Tombstone, Wilcox this week. So, huge week for the Lady Pumas.
Also,
you could say that. Let's see, against the Hayden game, the Beast, 3 for 3, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs. Got you over there. And who am I missing here?
Yasleen Hernandez, Beast Yasleen Hernandez.
Oh, Yasleen, the Beast.
I got you. Just go ahead.
And Isabella Solis, 3 for 4 in that game as well. Maria Lopez, 2 for 3, 2 runs scored with an RBI. It's Tombstone week. Get up, ladies. It's time to wake up.
I don't know if you caught our show last week, but the Bisbee Lady Pumas have 3 players in the top 10 of the state of Arizona in stolen bases.
Yeah.
The top 6 in 2A all come from Bisbee. So something about the base pass in Bisbee, Arizona. They got them down.
That is interesting. They obviously got some speed on their team, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we're still here.
Two of the tops are the Lopez's, and they're not related to the other Lopez's. What is? Yeah, I'm sorry.
While we're here, I want to ask a real quick question about the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. This is outsider. You know more about this than I do. As an outsider, last year you guys were aggressive on the base pass, like unruly aggressive. This year it looks like you're a lot more selective on the base pass. Is that something that we've really worked on? Is like not just taking every base, but when to take a base? Because it looks like you guys have just gotten so much better at that.
Well, we like to put pressure on the defense, and so maybe we've incorporated more like hit and runs, bunts. We've worked a lot on bunting. So Bisbee beat, Phoenix Christian. Bunting, it's like,
base pass and
recipe,
bunting, that's what I said.
It's like playing some small ball and, trying to be smarter on the bases and I was thinking maybe we're a little slower this year, but I don't think we are. I think
no, it seems you're more selective.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say slower, just more selective.
Right. Yeah.
That's just something I noticed where the efficiency on the bases has really gotten better from last year. Where like last year you guys were just this weird juggernaut, just kind of running through everybody. And
we were aggressive. We were very aggressive. Yeah.
Speaking of had a great time with the Gabe Garcia on Saturday night. Had a great shot. I ran into him in Buffalo Wild Wings. We watched the fights together. I was like, Gabe, we still tell stories about you to this day.
Gabe, yeah.
Like to this day, we still tell Gabe Garcia stories.
I can't believe he found time out away from his major league team to come down to Buffalo Wild Wings in Sierra Vista, Arizona. That's crazy.
No, I have some inside information on that one as well. Gabe Garcia is a firefighter right now.
Really?
Gabe Garcia.
We're in Sierra Vista.
Well, I don't know if they're bad. He's a seasonal firefighter.
Okay.
They'll probably if he's not back working. Yeah, he's with the Forest Service, I believe. Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about these athletes is they have the heads on their shoulders.
When Spencer's going into the Marines.
Oh man, it's crazy.
But no, and so with Gabe, his family and myself now are pushing him to get back into baseball. Where I told Gabe, you can be a firefighter for the rest of your life. Like this little window that you have right now is very small. Like go to Cochise, go kick some butt. That's how you get discovered. You know what I mean? That's where the D1s come calling. You go bat 450 for Cochise, people start noticing. And so I think Gabe Garcia may be rejoining the baseball world.
Cochise College ranked 14 in America.
Yeah, Gabe's heard that a lot, probably from a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. Do it while you can. You have the opportunity, go do it. Because you get, they want to go to work. Mm-hmm. They're kind of tired of school, the academic side anyway. And Gabe was a great student too, so
relatable.
He had a lot going for him, and he's got to Kids have to make decisions.
How are you going to talk someone out of being a firefighter?
I told him, you're over there doing God's work, you know what I mean? But,
That's tough.
But yeah, I had a great time, Gabe. Great to get to know you even better. Get back into baseball. We miss you.
Let's get back onto some stats here. This has been a great show. Thank you, Coach.
It's always a great show when we have.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the St. David Tigers. We'll go with the boys first. 6-6-1, 3-0 in their region, so still have not lost in the region despite a little bit of hiccups in the beginning. But again, they're just like the Benson Bobcats. They schedule up.
Yeah.
They went 2-0 last week. They beat Patagonia. They beat Duncan predictably. They do play Fort Thomas today. They play Valley Union Thursday, and then they play Ray on Friday. The same Ray Bearcats that ran roughshod over that Warren Ballpark Classic.
Right. Beat all of us. Who are you?
Yeah.
They came into that tournament winless. Who are you, Ray?
I do want to give some shout-outs to Vincent Ciccarello, who had 750, a double, 2 RBI. Luke Haymore, 667, 2 RBI, and a stolen base. Owen Judd coming back into form, 555 last week, a double, an RBI, through 9 innings in 2 different games, 14 strikeouts, only 1 earned run, and that's the best thing you could say about St. David because they did lose their 2 arms, so getting the pitching going, that's a big key for him. And also, shout out to Brody Stover, first time we mentioned him, 667 last week, 2 walks, 2 runs, 3 RBI, and a stolen base.
And let's go over to our St. David Lady Tigers. See you on Thursday, baby. Let's go, because all they do is win, 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 no matter what. 10-3 on the year. They beat Duncan 24-4. Whew! How'd they lose to 3? They have Fort Thomas this week, and then they have Valley Union on Thursday. I'll see you there, ladies. What up? Coach Yogi requested us specifically. We'll see you there. Let's talk about that dunking
I'll be
game.
at the baseball field. We Rochambeau'd for it. He got the softball. Sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. I'm kidding, I promise.
So that Duncan game with it 24-4. Piper Merrill 4 for 4, 4 runs scored with an RBI. Emma Hart 3 for 5, 5 runs scored, 4 RBIs. St. David Lady Tigers. Again, we fell just short last year, like the aforementioned Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Nothing less than the chip. I want the whole gosh darn thing, St. David.
Coach Yogi promised it. Okay, that's not us saying. He said he's going to get us a ring.
They know what happened last year. They just had a bad day in the playoffs. That's all. If
you've ever watched one day. Well,
I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit because I talked to Coach Yogi before they went to the playoffs last year. I said, "You guys favorites?" He said, "Those Valley teams are so good this year." I was like, "I'm sorry." I was like, "Of course, I think we could beat anybody, but they are so good this year."
Well, that's we're back again. We got one more shot at this thing. A couple other teams that I don't have any stats on at all. One of you I will be seeing on Thursday. That's going to be Valley Union. 5-5 on the year, 2-1. They did lose to Wilcox 11-2. They're playing up on that one. They have Duncan. They're going to beat Duncan, and then they have St. David on Thursday. So Valley Union, I'll see you there. And San Simon, no stats, 1-12 on the year. They got Bobo twice this week. Beat Bobo. We don't like Bobo.
Baba Kivari.
Baba Kivari.
I like Baba Kivari. I'm going to still say it like that. I love it. The Valley Union Blue Devils boys team, 6-4 in the season, still undefeated in Region 6-0, but went 1-2 last week. They did beat Baba Kivari. They lost to Mogollon, which is spelled Mogollon, so I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I don't know.
They tell me it's Mogollon.
Arizona, man.
I know, right? They also lost to Desert Christian. No shame in that game. They do play Duncan today, and then they play St. David Thursday, a game that we will be covering. We'll talk about Dylan Mitchell, 667 this week, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 2 steals. Also threw 3 1/3 inning with 5 strikeouts. Michael Durazo hit 500 this week, first baseman for the Blue Devils. And freshman Brian Two Moons keeps finding his name on our stat sheet. 333 with 3 RBIs. That's going to do it for our 1A coverage. Huh?
I say, who are you, Brian? Like, who are you?
What was his younger brother of
the basketball player?
Brittany Two Moons?
I can't remember her first name, but yeah, she was the basketball player that was
It's
so
tough.
good.
There's so many. You guys cycle so many kids over here. It's tough.
Have you played? Did you guys play Valley Union?
We did not play Valley. We were scheduled with Valley Union. No, we didn't play them at the tournament either. We were scheduled to play them during the tournament in a regular game, and we just couldn't find a place to put it. Our season was, man, in the beginning, especially the beginning of the year, we were jam-packed with games,
I asked because they have a couple of orbs over there, Stephen De La Cruz and Dylan Mitchell. That's why I was asking if you had played.
Well, Dylan beat us last year.
Okay.
Over there.
Did he really?
Yeah. Yeah.
We were at a game, but you guys beat them. Did you play them twice last year? Maybe it was. I remember he went 4 for 4.
We did. I think we played them at home, and then when we went over there, he threw.
I will say shout out to Steven De La Cruz, by far the most improved pitcher from what I saw last year.
Yeah.
So we say they got 2 arms now. Hopefully they can put it together. Let's
That'll
jump
be a big
over
one with them in St. David. This week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that for
They
the
have
region?
Thursday and then they have Monday. So they're basically doing the home and away series like they do in Florida.
Yeah. So pretty much. Because right now, we'll get to the rankings. Last week they were 5-6, I believe. So it's good huge for the playoff implications.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go over to the Douglas Bulldogs. The second, I let Dave convince me that Wilcox should be ahead of them. Douglas rips off 3 in a row last week. They're 2-2. They're currently 11-8-1. They beat Rio Rico twice in their home and away series. They also beat Thatcher. They do play Amphitheater this week in a home and away series. We'll talk about Trace Rodriguez, 455, 6 stolen bases. 5 of those were in one of the Rio Rico games.
Jesus.
I know. A double, 2 RBIs. Ivan Aguirre, 455, a double, an RBI, 3 stolen bases. Isidro Hoyas, the sophomore, hit 1,000 last week in 2 games, had 2 doubles. He also threw 6 innings with no runs around. And Andres Hoyas, 375 with 3 RBIs. All it takes is a little bit of Dave motivation, and the disrespected Douglas Bulldogs are back.
Coach, if you knew how many times did I bury Douglas? They come rising out of the ashes.
Yeah. Maybe we need a little bit of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
you guys have no
chance
chance on Friday.
2 years ago,
Right.
Douglas was winless. No, they beat the Bisbee in the Copper Pick and were winless outside of that. Dave said, "Hey man, great season. Just go out there and play.
Have
you guys,
some fun.
have some fun." He said the phrase, "You guys are done." And after that, they didn't lose a game.
Yeah, like a pinball machine. Ding, 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 ding. Let's talk about the ladies. Oh my good Lord. They're 19-5 on the year. They're 4-1 in their region. They had 3 wins last week
They're still disrespected by the AI.
By a combined score of 36-4. They have Thatcher this week. They have Amphitheater twice. I don't know what what they need to do. Excuse me, those are the wins. Thatcher and Amphitheater. They have Santa Cruz Valley. They have St. Augustine Catholic. There are no stats. So thank you, Douglas. I've been saying this for 8 weeks now? Or you guys are
I have
19-5?
I have Maria Trenta's contact information. I probably should have used it by now.
Give me something on the Douglas Lady Bulldogs.
She's not the coach. She's just the AD. She's got a lot going on. And we put all our ADs under a lot of pressure.
I thought you meant a player's contact. Never mind.
With the All-Star game we did, we put the ADs under a lot of pressure. As Dan knows, we just like to throw things last minute. Hey, what would be cool?
Oh, yeah, I like to give my player of the week 10 minutes before showtime. That's what I like to do.
Did we get Dave's player? Oh, okay. I thought we did. I was like, we 86 that. What do we?
I'd like, we have a guy that makes our life so much easier, and what do? I make his life so much harder, because that's just what I do.
Well, let's get over to the Buena Colts now, because the Buena Colts also on a 10-game winning streak, tying the Bisbee Pumas. They're currently 17-5, 5-0 in their region. That means undefeated in region play. 3-0 last week. They beat Pueblo twice, which I thought was great, coming off 2 big series victories against Cienega and Nogales. There could have been a down game. They said no, thank you. And then they beat Tucson Friday handedly as well.
Did.
A game that I was supposed to be at, but
Tucson
sorry,
High.
I just did not want to drive in the pitch black up to Scottsdale, Arizona.
They smoked them. They smoked Tucson
They already
High.
played Casa Grande this week, which is a win. They have Desert View tonight and Desert View Thursday. We'll be in St. David, so maybe someone else can cover the Thursday game. We'll see. Well, no, because we have to have both streams going. Anyway, shut up, Paul. Angel Oliveras for the Buena Colts at 714, 5 RBI, 2 stolen bases, and a double last week. And I went small schools with my player of the week. I'm sorry, Buena Colts. Everyone deserved it. Landon Fields, a name we haven't mentioned, a junior for the Colts, 3 for 3, a home run and 4 RBI in one game. Could have been a grand slam. You never know. Austin Cushman, 556 last week, a double, 4 RBIs, stolen base. Also threw 6 innings in 2 separate games, I believe. 9 strikeouts and only allowed 3 earned runs. And another name that we're not familiar with, Skylar Leon in a game, hit 3 for 3 with a triple, 2 RBI, and a stolen base for the Buena Colts.
I was at the game yesterday. Special shout out to Kai Ormile.
Erlmeyer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With
I've
that-
been saying it for 2 years.
With
I
that
got a head
beautiful
start.
throw from center field, the gun down that kid at home plate. The stands went crazy
What
yesterday.
is with center
What
fields in Buena?
a throw! He got there was a shutout game. Angel was pitching a shutout, and they hit a ball in the center, and that run was guaranteed until Kai threw that ball, and he gunned him down like he's in Tombstone, Arizona, the town too tough to die. It was nasty.
Well, you mentioned Angel, the first game I broadcasted for the Colts. He gunned someone down at third. You know what it is? They were sick of hearing about the Douglas Bulldog defense, and Buena's putting on a show this year.
Man, oh man, did they put on a show yesterday?
Uncoincidentally, 10 in a row.
Matter of fact, they were up 7-0, and I realized that the softball game was 11-10. Let's talk about the Buena Lady Colts. Oh my God, they were up 11-10 in the sixth inning yesterday,
I feel like you
and it
daved them.
just got away from them. They ended up losing to Casa Grande 19-14, but they were up 11-10. I went flying over there to watch some of that game. Girls, he played a heck of a game. It's just, it's one of those years. They have Desert View twice this week. But, yeah, that game yesterday, Haley Larson, 3 for 5 with a run, 6 RBIs. Morgan Smith, 3 for 6, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. Kylie, come on, Dave, read your own. Courager, 3 for 5, run scored, and RBI. We have to read our own handwriting, okay? It's
Not anymore. I decided to finally use a computer for the
But yeah,
3 years.
Again, it's just yesterday was an example of the whole year. You know, where you had them, you were up, and you just let it pull away from you. So they're 4-2 in their region. You're going to tell us about rankings, but not the season the Buena Lady Colts were looking for. But again, you had Casa Grande yesterday. You were so close. I was there. I watched you.
Speaking of Lady Colt programs, I did get a text message from my coach, Jamie Perkins, yesterday, who's going to be the new Buena Lady Colt basketball coach and is excited to get started. Coach Perkins comes from Eureka College and is bringing next level experience to the Colts.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Okay.
Big things for the Buena Lady Colts as they're going to get all their programs back on track, and it sounds like the softball program just about there.
It's again, they beat Pueblo this week. They lost to Tucson High Magnet. There's no shame in that game. But they had a 20-16 win over Pueblo. Like they were up on Casa Grande. They're right there. They're right there.
All right, let's get over. That's going to do it for our stats coverage. No ladies, but we do have 2 players of the week.
Yeah,
It's all good. Well, we were nixing it. We were nixing Dave's. Do you have graphics up or no, Dan? Okay, yeah. So, like I said, I was going to do small schools this week for our players of the week, especially because St. David Valley Union haven't had a player of the week. So, for the St. David Tigers player of the week, Owen Judd. Of course, Owen Judd, a player, hit a home run in front of me, and my phone went out right before he did it last year. So, at Warren Ballpark as well.
I missed the play at the plate in Benson. It happens.
It happens. What are you going to do? And our second player of the week, no surprise for the Valley Union Blue Devils, Mr. Dylan Mitchell.
So good. The kid is so good. Dylan, we love you. The limited capacity that we've gotten to watch you and whatever, we love you, Dylan. You're a great kid. Dan, was I too late on mine?
Yeah.
I was too late.
Just saying.
We do have I have a couple players of the week. Sorry, no graphics because Dave failed you. Okay, it's my fault, not Dan the man's fault. Emma McWilliams from Wilcox, she had a heck of a week, and Morgan Smith from the Buena Lady Colts, also a heck of a week.
Morgan Smith, congratulations,
Yes.
Lady Colts.
So
That's going to do it for that. Let's go ahead and jump now into our official AIA state rankings. And as always, we will go ahead and start with the softball. We'll go starting with our 5A team, the Buena Lady Colts. Jump up. They're still in that 24 range. Remember, 2 weeks ago they were 34. They're still at 24. The Douglas Lady Bulldogs, our 4A team, still disrespected. 14th ranked in the state of Arizona.
they're 19-5, coach,
They're 19-5, and they beat Saurita.
and they're 4-1 in their region.
Either which way.
And they had 3 wins this week, 36-4.
We're going to jump over to our 1A teams. Sorry, Dan, if I threw you a curveball. Ranked 23rd, the San Simon Lady Longhorns. Ranked 20th, the Valley Union Lady Blue Devils. And hanging around at number 2 again, the St. David Lady Tigers.
Number 2, huh?
Number 2.
Okay. That's like, I know what Coach Yogi has to say about that. He's like, we'll see you. We'll see you soon.
He said we'd rather be number 1 at the end of the year.
Yeah. We'll be number 1 when it's over.
Going over to our 2A
See you on
teams,
Thursday,
I was
ladies.
laughing. You guys talked about, you were so accurate about our 2A teams. Let's start off with the Benson Lady Bobcats. Number 15, according to the AIA, so well in playoff contention. And then we have a logjam at 8, 7, and 6. We have the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets at number 8. We have the Bisbee Lady Pumas at number 7. And then we have the Wilcox Cowgirls at number 6. And, Coach, you said that's a battle for the region right there.
Well, those are 3 very different tales. The Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets, like, they should have won it last year.
They were
like,
preseason number 1.
Yeah, like, they are just that good. The Bisbee Lady Pumas were postseason ineligible last year, and so we don't know what they are.
Revenge tour.
They're on the revenge
Some would
tour
say.
right now. And then the Wilcox Cowgirls came out on the inspiration of Hattie the Baddie, came out of nowhere, and they're formidable. Like, it's a thing. Our 2A softball teams are they're all going to the playoffs, and we'll see you all very soon. We just found out that with the 2A, the softball teams will host, the higher seeds host. So we should be able to cover some of these playoff softball
That's
games.
going to be tough. We got to be a good year. There's going to be some blanding games.
Who
knows what's going to happen?
We'll do the best we can. Like I said, I'm not Kevin Hart. There isn't for me. I will do the best I can.
Speaking of Hattie the Baddie, found out that she might be going to a prestigious softball school, so might be bypassing the Wilcox Cowgirls. We will have to see.
When you a 4-year reign of terror.
Hattie McCum, when you set the Little League World Series record for strikeouts, people tend to notice. That's a long time. That's never going to be broken. She would strike out like 21 batters of the 24 she faced or something.
We're expecting a Wilcox reign of terror.
Well, going to a higher in one of those elite schools where to face the competition that they would have there is just going to make her.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, but we want her to play for Wilcox.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
We can't be selfish in these things, Dave. We can't be selfish in these things.
Yeah.
I was thinking, man, can we just put all the kids in Cochise County together and just have them play every school, every school schedule?
I'm telling you.
But either which way, that's going to do it for the softball rankings. We'll get over to the 5A baseball rankings, starting off with the Buena Colts. Not disrespected Buena Colts. They are number 5 in the state still, and looking to go up
home
after
playoff games. That's a home playoff
take
games.
care of the Jaguars. Douglas
look
Bulldogs
so good right
do jump up in our 4A rankings. They go all the way up to 20, so right back into the play-in for the Douglas Bulldogs after that 3-0 week. Going over to our 1A teams, there's no change here. The St. David Tigers come in at number 6, according to the AIA, and the Valley Union Blue Devils are number 5. So obviously, after Thursday, we're going to have a clear-cut supremacy in Cochise County for 1A.
100%. And I expect Dylan Mitchell to be on the mound this week against St. David. Let's see who they throw at them. But, yeah, what a game. I'll be joining you by the second inning because, the St. David Lady.
No disrespect to the Valley Union
It's
Blue
the
Devils,
truth.
but
It's the truth.
we know what the St. David Lady Tigers are.
It's,
No mercy.
By the time we go to St. David, we love going to St. David, and by the second inning, I'm in the booth. I'm like, yeah, it's over. Like they won't.
Yeah, the St. David Lady Tigers actually educate us on the mercy rules. They're like, what is it?
Is it 20 after 2? Like, is it 20 after 2? Like, So, yeah, we'll see you in St. David on Thursday. Coach Yogi, I'm coming, baby. Let's do this.
Emmeline Jaquez,
Emma Hart.
Gooding,
Yeah,
Paisley.
Paisley Gooding. Yep.
Yeah,
all the stars.
Austin Hatch. I'm trying to
All
name
the
everyone off the
stars.
top of my head. All right, let's jump over to the 2A rankings. What everyone in this table
There's
is
one that
looking
I'm
on.
really worried about. Where's Wilcox?
The Wilcox Cowboys lead us off at number 17.
Oh.
They're in the play-in still, but definitely not in range of hosting a play-in game.
Because they lost at senior night. My stranding
If
nightmares.
it stays there, they go to Morenci.
Oh.
They are 1-1 against Morenci.
Yeah,
so.
Morenci's 16 today. Yeah.
Dropping down from 5 to 7, the Benson Bobcats.
They took a thrubbing at the hands of the Yellow Jackets. I mean, they're still going to Goodyear, but
They were number 4 last week.
You get drubbed like that. I mean, like it is what
They
it
lost to
is.
Tombstone.
We'll see you in Goodyear. You know what I mean? Like it's what number's gonna be next to your name. Big week for the Benson Bobcats.
I think. Well, I was going to switch it up, but I remembered I don't want to make Dan's life as hard as Dave does. So number 4,
What am I
the
Santa Rita?
Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
They fell to 4?
They fell to 4, going 2 to 4. And this was after the rankings of the Desert Christian Laws came out, so I have no idea how they figured that one out.
Well, that's probably because we played Santa Rita last night, and strength of schedule and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, it drops
gets factored in. Yeah, it gets factored in, and all those teams, us, I don't know, the 2 or 3 ahead of us, and
who is
and
it?
even behind us,
Scottsdale
it's all they're
Christian.
like so close.
So besides Cochise County,
Scottsdale Christian is 6. I think Phoenix is 5.
Well, Phoenix Christian is.
Hey, spoiler!
You already took
Everyone
care of
waiting
them.
on our number 1 team. It's still the Bisbee.
Yeah.
Well, you already took care
By a
of
lot.
Phoenix Christian. We already learned that Phoenix Christian doesn't have a chance this year. Thank you to the Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
I wouldn't go that far.
Really?
But okay.
Because their coaches are. That's what their coaches like. They're not as good as they were last year.
Well, they
We'll
may
see,
not be.
won't we?
I don't know.
So it's ahead of Tombstone is Glendale Prep and Santan Charter.
Yeah.
And then Scottsdale and Phoenix Christian are ahead.
And they all have some big. They all play each other a little bit, I think, in the
Well,
next
you were telling me
week or
about
so.
Round Valley's got a kid out there too.
Round.
Alex.
Oh yeah.
Or somebody was. Maybe
I
it
don't
wasn't
think
me.
I was talking Round Valley, but I know Scottsdale. I think plays Phoenix Christian tomorrow. Scottsdale and Phoenix Christian, I think, play tomorrow, and then Glendale Prep, Santan, both. They've got some pretty big games coming in the next couple of weeks.
How are you feeling about the rankings then, Coach?
Like I said earlier, the rankings are the rankings, and once you get there, it's just matchups.
Yeah.
It's just matchups.
No, 3 weeks in a row, man. 3 weeks in a row we've had a coach come on here and say, I don't care about the AIA rankings. I only really care about Paul's power rankings.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Yeah, let's hear that. Not a lot of changes in this one, honestly. Dave, if you want to hand me the Breen. I'm going to try to not jump on this side and get half my head taken off.
Am I in your way? I can.
No, absolutely not,
you're
Coach.
fine.
You can never be in the way.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
We're in your way.
I thought about this one.
Yeah,
I thought about changing this one, and
sweet
everything
hat.
can change
Oof.
Friday. But again, they've been here most of the season. St. David Tigers, number 8.
See you on
our
Thursday,
list.
boys. We love going.
Coach,
to
if you
St.
don't
David.
know, this is just being the 8th best team in the state of Arizona. That's what the power rankings.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
7,
They're right
falling
above
all
Phoenix
the way
Christian.
back down. The Wilcox Cowboys got to 5 or 6 last week. I can't
Straight
even
at 9
remember.
runners last night, boys. 9 runners. I talked to your coach.
Then we have the Douglas Bulldogs jumping in front of the Wilcox Cowboys, almost jumping in front of the Valley Union Blue Devils, but I can't put Valley Union
Ahead
out
of
the
Douglas?
top 5. They've
Ahead
been
of
ahead of
Douglas?
Douglas. Valley Union's been my 5th team for a long time now, Dave. Where have you been?
All right. Like I said, Valley Union's been living in St. David's shadow for a long time.
Exactly.
And Thursday is a big game for Valley Union.
Hopefully they don't
That's going to be a big
prep
one.
themselves a little too high. Top 4 is going to start, of course. Oh, I got 2 Wilcox hats on here.
That's a sweet pinstripe hat.
I was going to say, I saw it sitting there when you said Wilcox. I was like, who's
I know, that's
who's
what I
that
was
one?
thinking. I was like, I have too many hats here right now. Congratulations, Wilcox. You got
We
double
get all
coverage.
the free gear, Yeah, I like as you know, you hooked me up with this fine hat.
Benson Bobcats, number 4. They had a chance to jump in front of the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Couldn't do it. And that leaves our 2 10-game win streak teams, the Buena Colts and the Bisbee Pumas, as our 2 top teams. Coach, obviously you wanted to get in front of those 2, but Buena and Bisbee haven't lost in 2 months.
Yeah. Right. No, I think you're right. I think you're right on, Paul.
All right,
Like,
there you go.
how do you not put those guys there, right? 10 in a row, and he's perfect.
Come on, AIA.
Now, I know that
Yeah.
you have a different set of emotions as us as media or whatever, as fans. Friday, like, what are we thinking about Friday? I mean,
One
either way
pitch
we're
at a
going.
time, he's a
It's the
coach.
same thing as last year, where we're going to Goodyear no matter what. And you guys locked up in the last game of the year last year. It had an epic battle in Warren Ballpark. I mean, what is Friday? I mean, for you, is Goodyear? Are we looking at Goodyear? Or like, what are we looking at? What does Friday mean to the Tombstone?
Well, we're not looking at Goodyear yet.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to focus on Bisbee, the next couple of days of practice, and I'm excited. Are
we
It's,
throwing DJ?
We're going to throw DJ.
Of course.
At some point,
at
some point, DJ will be pitching. I promise.
I love it.
Promise.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for our high school sports coverage. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Dave, do you have any questions?
Of course I do.
Okay, 3 questions. Quizzy for Pizzy. It's a gamer tag. I'll give you the whole rundown after the show.
It's only been a couple of days. It seems like it was a million years ago.
Congratulations, Rory.
Rory, what a
What a
Masters,
You
dude.
can jump in on this. The Masters, boy.
Oh, no,
The
dude.
Masters, go.
I was pulling for Rory.
The Masters.
I think everyone was.
Yeah. And I saw the beginning, And then I was driving and I was trying to listen to it on my phone and it was cutting in and out. And I got home for like the last 3-4 holes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a
Rory
3-4 holes
Rory
to
was,
witness.
yeah.
There's a lot of layers to this one. I said
so many layers.
When it was Justin Rose after he hit the putt,
Oh
like
my
you said
God.
on 18, you have that great saying, like at least he didn't lose
Yeah,
it.
at least Justin Rose didn't lose it. Yeah, like Justin Rose did what he could do. Like,
But then we had Rory and Justin going against each other. So even no matter who won, you're going to be happy for him, especially Justin Rose, by double the round amounts as the longest
18-hole leader. In
yeah,
history,
in history of Masters. He's led the most rounds without winning.
He's that. I told my wife after Rory missed the putt.
That 4-footer. Oh my God.
I was like, he doesn't have a chance against Rose in the. You don't have a chance. There's no way you can recover. How do you recover from that?
A 4-footer.
In the very next hole, right? Yeah.
I had my putting green in my house, and my buddy was there, and I just kept making the 4-footer. And I'm like, this one, Rory, this is the one you're having problems with.
Well, and then Rose hits that drive, that perfect drive, and
Yep.
I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's done. He's done.
And then Rory
And
dropped
he
the
just-
shot of the century.
Yep.
He's a pro, man. He's a pro. It was awesome.
I mean,
that was awesome. to see.
Rory had 2 double bogeys in the final round.
Yep.
Open with a double.
3 5-foot and in putts that he just missed, and including on the 18th, and to come back from that, you can't teach that kind of mental toughness.
No.
It can be taught to you.
Yeah, you can learn. Yeah.
You can learn.
Yeah, you can be on the other end of it.
Here's the
but,
thing.
yeah.
I don't want to put a sour damper on it, but that has to be the worst last round of a Masters winner in some time, maybe 20 years. Because normally with the majors that I've been watching lately, whoever wins just runs away with it. And it looked like Rory was about to because Bryson was messing
He
up.
was up 4 strokes after 9.
And then the double
DeChambeau
happened.
went- yeah.
Oh,
And I
took
feel
a
like
dive.
I pulled that one because I was just like, we were driving home from Scottsdale, and I was like, I don't want him to someone's got to come up and give us a sweat because I'm sick of watching.
I was mad. I was like, another blowout in Augusta.
Exactly,
And
right.
then Rory fell, and then you're like, oh no, Rory, no.
Great question, Dave.
It's the Masters. That wasn't even a question. I just said the
Right down
Masters.
that.
Go. Let's go with question number 2. I do this to you because I don't know if you did or did not. Did you happen to catch Patty the Batty fight this weekend?
No, of course not.
No.
I was
Patty
at
the-
my daughter's dance competition.
Coach, you know who Patty the Batty is?
I don't. Is that like
UFC,
MMA?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really follow that.
Oh, so
much.
he's
Yeah.
from Liverpool. He talks like a Beatle. He
That-
has a
Oh,
stupid
yeah.
haircut.
Oh,
Yeah, but he's undefeated. I was just curious if you happened to catch it. Yeah, Patty the Batty walked through Michael Chandler. He's undefeated. Patty the Batty.
Yeah, you
If
said he
you
was.
ever want to see something fun for you folks at home, look up Patty the Batty does tongue twisters. Because he's from Liverpool. So it'd be like Betty Booter, better Booter. Like, it's the funniest thing you ever saw in your life. So that wasn't really a question because you didn't watch the fight.
No,
Right.
but
Oh.
you filled the time. Good job.
And
being a pro.
we are just a couple weeks away. So give us something that we don't know. Pizzy's NFL mock draft 1.0.
Oh, I don't.
Like, any surprises?
I don't know.
Trades that day. What are you visualizing in your crystal ball about the NFL
Well, I think
draft?
a Shador slide would be the surprise, but I think everyone's kind of predicting it right now because there's only one team in the top 5 that would take Shador, and they're
The
looking,
Giants, yeah.
yeah, they're looking like they don't even care. We're going to see Josh Simmons, who is the best left tackle in the draft for Ohio State. He's going to fall because of his injury. If he falls to the Chiefs, that'd be perfect symmetry.
This is why we.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because Trey Smith, who you know for the Chiefs, one of the best guards in football, if not the best, fell all the way to the 7th round because of his health issues. So it's one of those things like this is what NFL teams deal with. They have to balance out, and there's going to be Russ coming in and blah, 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 blah.
I didn't know anything about this left tackle from Ohio State. This is why I asked you these questions.
Well, the thing about the tackle class is in the NFL, it's all about minute details and measurements and things like that. And I can't remember it's like 34 inches.
Like arm length.
Yeah. If your arm aren't 34 inches, they don't really look at you, and there's not a tackle in this draft that doesn't have over 34-inch arms. Which makes sense at the NFL game because tackles, they have to get arms on you. If you're a guard, you're using your body weight to move people around more often. So, I mean, I'd say in terms of players, I don't have a draft where they're going to go. Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan. I think he's going to probably end up being one of the best players in this draft.
That's why we asked the questions. 'Cause I
Yeah,
don't even
buddy.
know who these people are. So that was about it for my 3-question quizzy for Pizzy.
All right. Well, I know for a fact we do not need a disclaimer for this one. He's not Rand or Raven, but it's still what we call Dave, and it's time for Dave's diatribe. Dave, take it away.
This one is hard for me, folks, and I'm being dead serious. I'm not being melodramatic. So a little bit of breaking news for you folks. This will be our last Cochise County Sports Show on Tuesdays on Cool FM Live. I just want to sit here and from the absolute bottom of my heart, thank you to Todd Ryan. Thank you to Cool FM. Thank you for the 3 years of an opportunity that we didn't even deserve because we'd never even done this before. Of the memories of us being in Wilcox, getting thrown out of the game, and the Bisbee fans all chanting, Cool FM, Cool FM.
And then full circle, having Wilcox actually love you more than anyone.
It has been a pleasure that I can't even possibly describe the last 3 years working with Cool FM, being provided this opportunity to showcase these athletes, to get to know these athletes, get to know their families, the coaches, all these things. It has been a blessing beyond words. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Thank you, Cool FM. Thank you, everybody that has supported us and watched us. Just thank you. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. I could sit here for the next 3 hours and tell you all the memories that I have working with Cool FM and these kids and all the opportunities that we've been provided. But I just, from the absolute bottom of my heart, Todd Ryan, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Todd,
you for
specifically
everything that you have given to us, and whatever our future holds, you were a part of it. So thank you very much. Thank you, Cool FM. Thank you, fans. Thank you. It has been a blessing. That's all I have.
That's all you need. Thank you, Dan Powers, as well. By the way, I do want to throw
Dan Powers.
Of course, we've known Dan for a little less than 3 years. But, yeah, I agree with that sentiment, Dave. Thank you so much to Todd Ryan at Cool FM for everything that he's done. Thank you, Todd Ryan, for constantly putting up with his shenanigans.
You deserve. Where's the trophy? Give Todd the trophy for dealing with Dave Davies for 3 years. My God, somebody give this guy a raise. My God, for dealing with me. Even in this last week, he's still dealing with stuff because I am not easy. All right, so
that was very well said, Dave. And poetically, our last broadcast for Cool FM Live is going to be Tombstone and Bisbee. Who would have thought?
Is there a better way to go? Is there a better way to go than Tombstone and Bisbee on Friday night? It will be our game of the week. Hopefully Dan Powers is not mad at us and he joins us one last time for our game of the week because we're going to is there a better way to go than Tombstone and Bisbee?
Is there a better way to go?
Let's do it.
Thank you again, Todd Ryan, everyone at Cool FM. Thank you, Coach, for joining us today.
Thank you guys, and
thank you for springing. Sorry for springing that news on you. For Dan Powers, I'm Paul Corder, Dave Davies.
On behalf of Tombstone and all the other programs in the county, you guys have done a great job, and I certainly hope it continues wherever you guys are going to be, and you guys do a great job. The kids love you guys. They ask all the time, "Is Cool FM coming? Is Cool FM coming?" I'm like, I don't know.
That's literally why we. I say, we have our. And again, I hate when Tombstone. We always talk about the one kid. When we show up and DJ just starts beaming, it's why we do it. It's why
the bats come alive.
The bats do come alive.
Yeah, they sure do.
I've talked to our AD. Maybe he can just hire you guys to do our game.
There you go.
Cool FM land. I love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for everything.
This presentation of the Cochise County Sports Show with Paul and Dave brought to you by Synergy HomeCare and Sierra Vista Golf Center. Tune in every Tuesday for new episodes right here on Cool FM Live.